The Lake Rotorua Primary Producers Collective was formed in 2011 to advance the interests of rural landowners facing major reductions in allowable nutrient loss from their farms. Members of the collective are participating in funded research aimed at calibrating high rainfall nutrient losses.
A lot of the farms in this region are in quite high rainfall, like over 2,000 millimetres a year, and we really don't have any information on nitrogen leaching losses from farms in that anything above about 12 to 1,500 millimetres. And they make up quite a significant part of the catchment here, and it's in the overseer model, which is used to estimate losses from here, that really hasn't been validated against data from high rainfall sites. So Chris and Jamie have volunteered to be involved here on their farm looking at measuring leaching losses under their over 2,000 millimetres of rain a year under their coarse pumice soils. The higher the rainfall, the higher the drainage and the more risk of loss. But there's only a certain pool of nitrogen that can be lost, and the timing is also quite important in terms of when the rainfall happens through the year, the timing of when drainage and leaching occurs, and what farmers can do about managing it in terms of the timing. So that's why it's really important to get an understanding of the pattern of loss through the year as well as the amount that drains. To measure the leaching losses, we've got ceramic cup samplers which are buried at 60 centimetres depth, so below the root zone of the pasture. We have 150 of them here spread around the farm, so it has to be enough to cover variability from urine patches, management, soil differences and so on. And we're linking that with lysimeters to measure the amount of water draining through the soil, and together we combine the nitrate data from the ceramic cups with the amounts of drainage to calculate the leaching losses. And so this is being done over a 3-year time period to count for variability between years. We're only partway through the first year, but even in this first less than 3 months, we've had over 600 millimetres of drainage occurring, which is well over the annual value of the Waikato and other parts of the country. And that's linked with reasonably low concentrations of nitrate in the drainage water, but with relatively high amounts of drainage.
We've been here for just on 20 years. This is our 20th milking season actually on this farm. Because of the elevation at 400 odd metres, we have hard frosts in the winter time, so the growing season is later. It's certainly not Waikato type temperatures, and the rainfall is our biggest limiting factor. We're really lucky that we've been able to employ our son on the home farm here now. When our previous contract milker moved on, we were able to offer him a position back home on the farm. So Alan and Michaela, and then now 2 young sons are farming here with us. Our biggest threat at the moment is the rules that are going to be coming down on us from Regional Council, and that they're going to make farming a conditional practice, and with that is going to be a nitrogen discharge allowance that we're going to have to meet by 2032. If we're not able to meet that, then we're strictly non-complying with our resource consent, and ultimately I presume they will be able to shut us down. The benchmark that was given to us back in 2005 effectively capped our nutrients at that level, and we aren't able to increase our export of nutrients beyond that level. So that's over 10 years ago now. So you've got to farm really smart to stay as you were 10 years ago and still try and increase production. One of the ways that we've been able to do that so far has been to drop cow numbers quite significantly. We've taken 30 head off while still maintaining production. We are aiming to feed less cows better and gain the production that way. The Lake Rotorua Primary Producers Collective was formed back in 2015. It came out really because those of us that had been busy lobbying the powers to be in Rotorua We're all Federated Farmer members, and we spent a lot of time at our Rotorua Taupo Federated Farmer meetings discussing Lake Rotorua issues. And so it was decided to set up a separate group to focus on that in its entirety so that the Federated Farmers group could look at all the other issues that were still ongoing. The main positive that came out of the early days was that we petitioned Regional Council for more collaboration, and from that the Stakeholder Advisory Group was born. And so all those in Rotorua that had some involvement in the lakes were able to sit around a table and negotiate some terms. Our target is to have some understanding of the real issues and know that the science is the best that it can be. We have grave concerns that these rules are being set on dated science. The sustainable load that we're having to meet was originally measured back in 1984, and it hasn't, to our knowledge anyway, it hasn't been recalculated since that time, and science has progressed dramatically. We know that we're all producing nutrients, and we accept that we have to get our act together, and I think our industry has done a really good job in accepting that fact nationwide, and the message from industry has certainly changed. We do have to address what we do on farm, and we are looking at all the best practice measurements, and we are working really hard at meeting every one of those, certainly in terms of our effluent application and how we do that, how we put our fertiliser on, and along with all of that now is record keeping. We're having to measure everything and record it so that it is available for inspection.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.